Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news, breaking news, everyone. Hello, everyone. JLR Investigates Emergency Live. Friday evening emergency live. Titled this video, FEMA Blockade. FEMA Blockade. It seems like there are some dire situations going on, boots on the ground. Western North Carolina, the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. And a lot of people that are there are painting a picture on some very extremely dire, disturbing information coming out of Western North Carolina. I'm going to bring Magnolia in the chat shortly to discuss, but it seems like, folks, there is a FEMA blockade going on, preventing private citizens and volunteers from dropping off supplies, helping people, providing Starlink devices, and FEMA seems like they are trying to stop everything in its tracks. And if true, why? What in the world is going on, ladies and gentlemen, in Western North Carolina? There are numerous people that I am observing and following on Twitter. One, Elon Musk, because Elon Musk has been saying a lot in the last 6 hours. He even called it a FEMA blockade. And there's other people there, numerous other peoples, including Glenn Beck, Corey Mills. There's this guy named Sean Hendricks that's all around there, Nick Sorter. There's people that are actually there sharing things that are disturbing to the core of what's going on, corroborated by residents in the Western North Carolina area who is basically corroborating what they're saying is happening. And it's bad, bad news. Nothing is good coming out of this situation in Western North Carolina. Where do we start? Because there's so much things to talk about and share what is going on. We are like a depot of information, and we're just letting you know what the real truth is, unless this is all lies, unless everyone suddenly, everyone is conspiring together to say that FEMA is doing these bad things when it's not really happening, because the White House is denying. They're denying all these things that are going on that FEMA is supposedly doing with the blockades and whatnot. They're saying no, and then the misappropriation of funds, the FEMA directing funds to other places like immigrant resettlement, migrant resettlement, and whatnot. What a mess. What a completely mess. And it at the cost of people suffering, right? Because there's lots of people that are still trapped in areas that can't be reached by vehicle. Limited helicopter operations. One of the blockades is also dealing with, the private citizens not being able to go into areas to rescue people. Pete Buttigieg denies it, by the way. He went tit for tat a little bit with Elon Musk, by the way. Where do we start? Let's start with Elon Musk, since he it seems like he's been taking the forefront, and he's been saying a lot, ladies and gentlemen. Elon Musk has been saying a lot, and he's been tweeting out. Look at this tweet right here. He uses the word blockade, blocking citizens. It says, just received this note from a SpaceX engineer helping on the ground in North Carolina. FEMA, he tags FEMA, right there. FEMA, there you go. They only got 829,000 subs. That's it, followers. FEMA is not merely failing to adequately help people in trouble, but is actively blocking citizens who try to help. Hey, Elon, update here on site of Asheville, North Carolina. We have powered up 2 large operating bases for choppers to deliver goods into hands. We've deployed 300 plus Starlinks and outpour. It has saved many lives. The big issue is FEMA is actively blocking shipments and seizing goods and services locally and locking them away to state they are their own. It's very real and scary how much they have taken control to stop people helping. We are blocked now on the shipments of new Starlinks coming in until we get an escort from the fire department. But that may not be enough.
Nick Sorter responds. He's another person that was there. He was one of the first people there at the scene. I'm not so sure if Nick Sorter's still there. This should shock absolutely nobody. FEMA is actively hindering relief efforts. Moreover, they're claiming the Starlinks that I've personally delivered as ones they delivered, which is kind of true because Biden was like, yeah, we delivered Starlinks to certain locations, whatnot. And Sorter's like, no, you haven't. He follows me, by the way. No, you haven't. We're the ones that are sending Starlinks, not the federal government. They're just running a PR for the regime and lying the entire time.
Now, who are we supposed to believe here, folks? Are we supposed to believe the people that are actually there giving firsthand accounts, or should we believe the people are saying, no, FEMA's doing a great job? You know, people from afar. Because I haven't heard anybody locally. And I've been scouring the net, and I won't be biased here. If I see clips of residents saying FEMA is doing a great job and FEMA's here to help and everything like that, I'll put that information out there. But I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the FEMA rescues and the choppers at all. Glenn Beck and Corey Mills actually went up to a FEMA, I guess a FEMA spot, and there was like a couple representatives there. They're like a little spot, and there's just a few of them. But going out en masse to actually help the residents, I don't think it's happening, folks. But why? Is it because they don't have no more money? Like the Homeland Security Chief said, we don't have no more money to, in case another hurricane comes, which, by the way, the National Hurricane Center is sending out hurricane hunters tomorrow in the Gulf of Mexico because it looks like Melton is going to be formed and go into Florida, another hurricane. And it's quite terrifying looking at some of these GFS and Euro models, having it a little bit offshore in the 940 range of millibars. Could be a Cat 2, could be a Cat 3, maybe a Cat 1. But this is not good, folks, considering FEMA just said they're out of money. And Florida's about to get hit with a hurricane. What's going on? And how come all this controversy is going on and mistrust with FEMA? Or is this just a right-wing conspiracy that some people are saying online on Twitter, people that are not there, but just saying, no, FEMA's doing good. This is just right-wing people saying this, that, and the other to try to discredit FEMA. I want to tend to believe the people that are there. If people that are there, it's always good boots on the ground. That's why it's important that we do boots on the ground on JLR Investigates, gets to the scenes to see what's really going on. And when you have these boots on the ground people sharing firsthand what they're seeing and witnessing from this terrible tragedy that occurred, this storm, you want to tend to believe them. I don't think they have agendas. Do you? Do you think they have agendas to lie, all these people? You think Elon Musk wants to sit there and lie online and just say, oh, FEMA's not doing... I mean, I don't think he's going to lie. I don't think so. Subsequently, he made more tweets. This is an example. He said, SpaceX engineers are trying to deliver Starlink terminals and supplies to devastated areas in North Carolina right now, and FEMA is both failing to help and won't let others help. They just took this video a few hours ago when you can see the level of devastation. Roads, houses, electricity, water supply, and ground internet connections completely destroyed. FEMA won't let them land to deliver critical supplies. My blood is boiling. Elon Musk said his blood is boiling. My blood is kind of boiling. Maybe yours should too. I don't know if yours are. I'm taking this very, very personal because I don't want to see people suffer. I don't want to see some sort of bureaucratic red tape that's prohibiting people, citizens, from going in. You mean they have the audacity to have people say, oh, you're going to be arrested if you go in and help because you don't have a permit or it's not FEMA regulated and things like that? That's egregious, that's wrong, and it's at the cost of people's lives. People need help now. Not tomorrow, not the next day. They need help now. And if private citizens want to help and bring in their supplies, they should have every right to do it. especially when FEMA was AWOL for days after this tragedy happened. I didn't see him Saturday. I didn't see him Sunday, Monday. I didn't see nothing except private citizens. And then the more private citizens started coming in and helping. And then FEMA or the federal government's working with local municipalities there, block it and stop it and say, no, get out of here. You're going to get arrested. No, we're going to take your stuff. FEMA's going to take your stuff. We are the ones that have to distribute that. You can't do it. You're not qualified. It's an unsafe area. You can't do it. Meanwhile, they weren't doing anything. This is the devastation he put on that tweet that's in that area. I mean, it looks like a nuclear bomb went off. All that. People need help now.
Right, because it looks like you could land there. Wow.
I'm assuming that video was taken out of Chimney Rock. I think that was Chimney Rock. Okay, so let me tell you something. Glenn Beck and Corey Mills went to one of the FEMA sites, and they posted this video here. Now, this is interesting. They have a little encounter with the FEMA people. But it's important to know what the FEMA people say and where they're at and what exactly they're doing. By the way, as we discussed on the last live, a lot of people coming out from those rural areas saying that they applied for that $750 and nope. FEMA says you don't qualify. You don't meet the income eligibility. You're not poor. Or you got insurance. You can cover it. Let your insurance cover it. So it seems like rural areas of people, rural people, are not getting approved that $750. Who's getting approved? How much of FEMA money are they giving out to people, and who exactly are they giving the money to? Who's getting that $750? Now watch this right here. This is Glenn Beck and Corey Mills. They're at a FEMA. They're at I guess this might be in Asheville. I think this might be in Asheville.
Well, they have to move
Well,
out.
they're moving chairs.
Okay.
This is the first one you've seen, right?
In Asheville.
Hey guys. Good. How are you?
What can I do for you?
Well, I'm Glenn, and this is Congressman.
Congressman Mills, how you doing?
We're just wondering what you guys are up to.
So they brought this in today, which gives us connectivity, complete
Okay.
connectivity, so we can do a lot more than we've been doing.
Okay.
Because all of our equipment works now. So they're registering, they're telling them over there, we're over here. I think tomorrow they're moving us over there somewhere more, but not exactly.
And what are you doing? What is it?
Actually registering people for FEMA systems.
Okay, so this is the check
Getting
thing.
them in the system. Not just to check things, but housing, checking generators.
Okay.
So bills to sell on housing, everything.
Yeah,
so
good.
much in there, you know.
Good.
But we're basically getting in the system.
And you guys got here today?
We've been here for 2 days. We got here yesterday. Yesterday we didn't have any connectivity, so we took 2,800 people, as near as we could count, coming through the food distribution line and through the gas station, and handed them all flyers. We didn't have flyers to hand them. Our flyers weren't here, but they could take pictures of our flyer, which told them they could go online, they could make a phone call, Giraffe to go online, just to get them in the system. Also telling them they're going to be here eventually. There'll be a DRC located nearby at the Disaster Recovery Center, and they go there for help. But the app is great. The app, they can go on, they can upload documents through the app, so they don't need us.
Can I ask a question? And one of the biggest problems, though, is that most people don't have the ability, one, to even get on their phones to verify what is going on. How does people even know that this location exists?
So that would be the news media's job to tell everybody.
But they don't have power.
None of the news media, well, I mean, I watch the news.
Well, no, the people who need the FEMA assistance don't have power.
You'd be
So how do they watch
surprised.
TV?
You would be surprised. They sit in their cars to charge their phones and listen to the radio. They're very, very well. That's how they knew the distribution center was here. So were told to come here to get those supplies, and they don't know we're here really until they get here. We tell them they see us, and we're here.
But it is plausible, though, that those who, one, are either cut off in the location, because they're still rebuilding roads, obviously, that cable resident, or doesn't have power, won't know about even where this truck exists, or if it does exist.
Right, and there's no way actually. So we're DSA Disaster Survivor Systems, right? So what we actually do, we work items like these, and we actually go door to door. We go door to door and try to knock on every door in the county, and we go at the direction usually of the emergency manager, because the fire chiefs are going to tell us where people are, where things are devastated. So we literally go door to door.
So when does that start?
That's way above my head. You're talking to Peon Eddie.
Yeah, okay.
You're not talking. Do you want to talk to my crew? You want to talk to my crew lead? Here, let me get my crew lead for you. She might have some answers.
But again, I go back to my point, which is that, okay, so I need to fill out a form. I need to scan a flyer.
Yeah.
How do I know this exists? Oh, the local media. Okay, well, they don't have power.
Yeah.
They might not have a vehicle.
Right.
So what about
I saw a lot of them washed away.
That's right.
Hi.
Man, how are you?
This is Patricia.
Hi, Patricia. I'm Glenn. This is Congressman
Mills.
Hello.
How are you, ma'am?
Good.
So, we're wondering, we just asked, when do you guys go door to door? He was telling that,
After we get the general stuff done, we got to hit the mass people first, wherever the mass people are. So the mass people are here. Let's get them into the system as quickly as possible. Once we get the masses done, then we start going door to door.
okay, how do people know you're here?
We just got here.
Oh, you just got here?
We were here yesterday,
Yeah.
and today's our first day
Okay.
with this unit.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow we're going to move the unit up by the car wash.
Oh, So-
Yesterday
so-
we couldn't do anything besides give them the information
Yeah.
because we didn't have any Wi-Fi.
right.
I will say, and this is just someone who's, we got lucky enough, Glenn actually spotted it before I did, but I think even having this vehicle more towards the front of the road where people even know that it exists, for visibility, with people coming by, might actually.
Yeah, we were in a van with 8 people. I was the only one that saw it.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
No, that's what we're gonna do. That's
Good.
what we gotta do. We just needed a temporary spot to turn around and get things up and running.
Yeah,
And the guy that's running this facility here, I spoke with the manager here. He said this would be a good spot. The guy that's running the parking lot, who's a different guy, I didn't know that. He said, so the car wash would be better. And I was like, boy, that's really smart.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Good.
that's where we're going to be set up tomorrow.
Good.
And we should be doing registrations. We'll be here between 9 and 10. We're all coming in from Charlotte. He'll be here a little bit earlier. And then we'll start tearing down about 5 o'clock so that we can get out of here.
Great.
Because we don't necessarily go door to door. It's not my cadre anyways. There's 23 different cadres.
Oh, I know. I understand how the bureaucratic levels of departments work.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
something-
So
they don't
we
always work
concentrate-
clear together.
Yeah, we concentrate at getting people into the system so
Right.
that we can get them financial assistance right
I love
away.
that.
And it's happening like that. One of
Good.
are you guys recording me?
Yeah, he's filming. Yeah, over here. He's
Okay.
filming us.
So, one of the first things that are coming out is special needs assistance.
Right.
That's just a little bit of into the account. People are going to think automatically that that's all that we're going to get. No, that's not the case. That's just the beginning. That is just the beginning, because then there's going to be another much larger drum, and then there's going to be other things, but we still have to go through and verify the damages that have been done.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and that you own the house and that you are the
so that
renter.
you can limit the amount of fraud, which we've seen in other areas. We
got it. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
We are all from different parts of the United States. I'm from Montana.
I'm from
Are you really?
Florida.
I'm from Texas.
Oh, golly gee, where are you guys from? Where are you guys from?
I'm from Tennessee. I'm working on.
Today's their official first day.
Bunch of bullcrap that was.
They got here yesterday. Official first day. We're tucked away almost tight.
She's where the masses are. She's where the masses are.
Don't worry. 9 to 5.
Well, but again, though, it still hasn't answered the question, which is that
How did we
you're
still
in
get
the
back
area.
because he was up?
Yeah.
No, she was up. She's where the masses are. Can't you see the masses lined up? They're not even in the right side of the parking lot. You want to be where the masses are, you put up signs at least, or your stupid little table in front of where the food is.
Well, and
When?
she said we
Well,
don't.
but then you question. You said when?
When?
He goes, well, that's above my head.
Yeah, and then
Above
so
your
let
head.
me talk to my manager. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
And then the manager said, no, we don't go door to door. I don't know when that happens. That's a different department. Oh my god.
You're kidding.
No.
That's exactly what was said.
No, it was that is.
When Glenn went silent, I knew he was done with this
I was
nonsense.
done from the very
Yes,
beginning.
I
could see these guys.
But again, though,
They
you
have-
wouldn't have even spotted them, Glenn.
I know. Good eye.
No.
He knows that they were back here. And again, my recommendation I thought was pretty common sense, which is, hey, for more
Move
visibility,
there.
maybe you put yourself on the main road.
Yeah.
You want to serve the quote-unquote masses. Let's go ahead and get mass
Look
visibility.
at the food and the stuff is down there. Their truck, which just looks
Hiding
like a
back here.
commuter, it doesn't have a sign, hey, register for money, register for help. Just a communications truck.
Right.
And two people sitting at the table.
If you saw that, would you know that's your sign-up for
No,
FEMA assistance?
no
I have no idea.
Well, that's the sign up for FEMA.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
You found it.
No, it isn't.
Yes,
Yes,
it
it
is.
is.
No way.
That's
Put
what they're.
themselves in the quiet corner in the back.
That's right. That's right.
And you ready? They said, we said, how do you people know? Well, they're watching TV and they're listening.
It's
radio.
up to the
They don't
media.
have homes.
That's what they literally said.
It's up
And
to the
I said,
media
so
to
let me
tell
get this
them.
straight.
I would have sat there with the camera and asked a lot more questions. Like, who are you? What's your chain of command? Who do you report to? Who's your bosses? And I just asked a rack of questions. Like, what's your objective here? What else? How long you plan on being here? How many people get approved? How many people get denied? I would have asked a bunch more questions. But yeah, understand who these people are, because FEMA's coming in, trying to take control of the situation, yet seems like no one's getting any help. And like they said, you're supposed to help the masses, but you're in the back of a parking lot with one little FEMA truck. Now, there's some weird stuff going on, because this is circulating too, folks. Apparently, now I don't know how true this is. I said, are FEMA employees getting attacked by outraged locals in North Carolina? And there has been some reports, like this individual here says, breaking reports that a FEMA director who was acting arrogant and denying aid to North Carolina flood victims was beaten by local residents. The incident occurred about 20 miles south of Asheville. I'm assuming that could be Hendersonville. Now, I'm looking into this to find out more truth to this, but people are, it got 5.2 million views. I don't know how credible this person is, Retro Coast. But I'd like to know a little bit about that. And if it's true, it wouldn't be shocking, considering that people need help and FEMA's kind of just standing there. What they claim, they're going to register people and then go door to door, I guess, to see their claims. Is that FEMA's role here? Basically, in this administration, as FEMA collects names. It seems like they collect names and then they follow up on each name and go to your home and check on you or something, or check on your home and make sure you got the damage or whatever like that before you're eligible for money. I think that's really all they do. What happened to all these rescues that's supposed to happen? Glenn Beck did a follow-up on that and spoke a little bit about that incident here. I'm going to do one more clip on him in that situation. But, man, I'm telling you, it's good. It's good. It's good to understand who FEMA is and what this is about.
Back on the phone from North Carolina. So, Glenn, what is Blaze doing in North Carolina right now?
We're just tracking down the facts of what's happening. There's a lot of stuff on the internet Some of it's true, shockingly true, and we'll have the details on that. Some of it is not true. I will tell you that every American should see this. It is so hopeful. The FEMA, I've seen one FEMA truck. I just interviewed them. They arrived last night. They had a communications truck, so they've got a big satellite so they can, talk to people on TV. They were tucked away. We were driving with 8, 9 people. I was the only one that saw the truck tucked way away from everyone. I said to them, what are you doing here? They were all sitting at a card table with one computer. And they said, well, we need to be where the people are. And I thought, well, the people aren't here. And we're getting them registered so they can sign up for government aid. It is absolutely ridiculous what the federal government is doing. But again, the hope is coming from the people here. You would not believe how, there's a makeshift airport. One of the helicopters is taking off. We're just getting in now. We're winding ours up because we're going to do a medevac from an old man who's in really bad shape and trapped in his house. And it's all being done by, former special forces. The Harley Davidson dealer here is
veterans.
It is communities and one American after another coming in and just helping. And we'll have everything you need to know on tomorrow's radio show. And Jill is with me, so she'll be back tomorrow, and we've got some amazing pictures to show you as well.
Glenn, Matthew here. This is fascinating. So you're confirming that what you're seeing is very little action from the federal government and a lot of organized action.
What I'm saying is no action from the federal government. And tomorrow, once I've already talked to 2 sources, and when I get a third one, which I'm going to get here in the next couple of hours, you will have a well-sourced story that is telling you when FEMA does arrive, what they do. They have pulled one source is a semi-truck driver who has been pulled over by FEMA, and they took his food off his truck because they know better.
Wow.
We have FEMA trying to shut down the Hilo field because the FAA isn't involved. Screw the FAA. If you had planes down here and you had helicopters yourself and you were rescuing them, then fine, we'd shut this down. But you're not here. And I really don't think they care. I really don't think they care. There are people that are still dying. We're on our way to Chimney Rock. After this rescue, we're going to Chimney Rock. We're going to land there and try to find somebody from the city to find out. They are bulldozing Chimney Rock. Now, that would have to happen, but is the government going to allow those people to move back and build their homes? Not according to FEMA's own mission plan, no.
That's terrifying. What are some of the major issues that you see arising for people?
That's crazy. And, that was some of the stuff that we were saying. Like, basically, I can understand the FAA or Budovich or whoever's responsible for, the flights or whatever. If they're actually had their own people, the federal government, paratrooping or parachuting into areas and zip lining and pulling people out, then, yeah, private citizens should get out of the way and let the professionals do it. The problem is they're not. The federal government has not done any of those type of rescues that I've seen. And people with boots on the ground are saying, not at all. It's the private citizens, the private contractors, the former veterans, the former military people that are out there doing it. And then the FAA has the audacity to say, get out of here. We're going to fine you, confiscate your stuff, blah, 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 arrest you, blah, blah, blah. You're obstructing, you're impeding an investigation. You're hindering our workers when there is no workers out there. There's none. This is like Maui 2.0.
And like I said with Elon Musk here, he gets into it with Pete. Pete denies it. No one is shutting down the airspace, and FAA doesn't block legitimate rescue and recovery flights. If you're encountering a problem, please give me a call. And Musk says there are hundreds of reports of FEMA FAA blocking flights. This literally just happened. I will follow you. Please DM me the number to call. And then a little bit later, Elon goes, still waiting. The helicopter is trying to land to deliver critical supplies. What's the number to call? So he called his bluff. Pete says no reply to him. But come on, man. We just heard from the incident from the guy in the Chimney Rock from Lake the one lake there. The private operator there that's trying to say the assistant fire chief was threatening him with arrest. Get out of here. We're going to arrest you. Because he was down there rescuing people. He had to leave people behind. Blood on that assistant fire chief's hands, by the way. Lake Lore, thank you. So much information to process. It's getting magnificent. It's also late. We've been doing this like I've been monitoring the hurricane stuff, and I'm telling you folks, like me and Magnolia, we got Starlink coming tomorrow, and we were like, our plans are to go up to North Carolina to monitor the situation and expose the evilness and expose the corruption. That's what we were going to do. Expose it. Bring our cameras and go out there and film exactly what the federal government is doing and not doing. And document all the private citizens and all the good people out there and share the information. But we got another catastrophe ready to happen in Florida, and I'm very worried here. And I don't think I can leave to go because I have to monitor unless weather forecasters say, the storm might not, I'm telling you, look on the maps right now. These models are saying another hurricane is going to hit Florida. And a cold front is going to push it down through the peninsula of Florida, maybe Tampa Bay up through Daytona. But the Hillsborough County and Sarasota County, they're already issuing sandbags and everything like that. In the last day, they're talking about sandbags. You get sandbags in the next couple of days. So they're expecting at least an issue. And I think that's important to cover there because we're going to have to see the aftermath there and see all the people and what happened there. It sucks. We really want to get up there and see what's really going on. And we will eventually, because I think this is not over anytime soon. Especially when you got, the North Carolina governor saying it's going to take a year to get I-40 built. A long, long time to get I-26. Get Magnolia in the chat. Come on in, Magnolia. Come on in, Magnolia. Hello. Good evening. Good evening, Magnolia.
Hey.
FEMA blockade. Your take.
Yeah, we've been watching it. These reports just keep piling up and piling up. And I'm so glad that when Glenn Beck went there with his crew, they were recording. That's what I was saying earlier today. When people are, talking to these public officials and they're getting information from them, whatever it is, people need to be recording this stuff so that we can see firsthand what's happening and what's going on. Because a lot of the reports are, honestly, it's hearsay. It's people giving their testimony. It seems credible because a lot of people are saying the exact same thing. But I'm just glad that there's finally some video here. And Glenn Beck was saying that they were driving down the road and there was a FEMA truck parked way off the road, and he's the only one in his group of 8 that even saw it. So, they're saying, oh yeah, we're here, but his point was, well, how do people know you're here? You're parked in this weird spot. No one can see you. How are they supposed to get this information? So anyway, I'm glad that he,
I say like this, Magnolia, if you want to be a hero and a citizen journalist and you want to find out the truth, someone should just plant their camera right there and film them at all times. Film them. Film their entire operation, 24/7, 365. See them going out and seeing exactly what they're doing. Film it.
Yeah.
Plant your camera and live stream. You got Starlink. It's free. Starlink's free in that area. They're giving it out free for the affected areas for 30 days. Get a tripod. Get a battery pack. Put your phone right there and see exactly what FEMA's doing at the taxpayer's expense. And this can debunk or corroborate what people are saying.
Yeah.
I want to do it so badly. I want to sit there and say, JLR, I'm live in front of one FEMA trailer in all Western North Carolina, live here, and this is what FEMA's doing. They just basically processing names.
Yeah.
And that's all they're doing,
Well,
processing names.
Yeah, and she's like, we're supposed to be where the masses are, and it's like, what masses? Where are the people?
And how
It
do they even know to get there?
But it reminded me of the pod site you went to the other day in Florida. There were all those supplies and those tents and all that stuff set up, but there were no people. So
because they don't know.
Wonder, like, where are these resources? Are these resources really being used in the most efficient way? Because if you're sitting here, you're setting up shop, and no one even knows you're there. I mean, come on. And I heard one of them said that that's the news media's job, to let people know where to go.
Which
I thought was interesting.
What's FEMA going to do about all those long lines for food all over just Asheville alone? What are they going to do with all the lines for gas and food? What are they going to do? What are they going to do for everyone that lost their home? What's FEMA going to do? Where's the FEMA camps? Where's the trailers that we've seen in prior natural disasters? Where are they? I don't see them.
No. Yeah, I don't either. And that last clip you played with Glenn Beck, where he called in and he was giving a little more information, he mentioned that it doesn't seem like these people, they may not be able to return. And that's what I was saying before. All these public officials that we've heard come out and do press conferences and all these things, we haven't really heard much talk about rebuilding.
No.
Have we?
No, not at all.
No. And, I've been kind of wondering about that, because we've watched a lot of these governors and different officials that are working on the disaster response. And, they're just kind of saying, like, this is what this department's doing, this is what this department's doing, and da-da-da-da-da, but I don't really hear any type of plans for the future. And I think that the situation there is so bad that we probably can't even fathom how bad it is, honestly, because this is, it's a pretty big area that this happened. And I think those mudslides are very significant, more than what we might imagine, because all that water came rushing down and the mud came with it, and a lot of those people got washed away in the mud. And so, trying to find people and recover bodies, we're hearing these reports that bodies are just piling up, and it just seems like a lot of this information is not coming to us from the media or even from the government, or elected officials. They're not giving us that information. We're getting it from these random people online.
Yeah, it seems like the media is covering for FEMA. This is exactly what's happening right here.
This is exactly what's happening. And it ain't FEMA, folks. It's private citizens getting to hard-hit areas themselves, and they're the ones trekking through the mud and the trails where there's no roads on mules, and themselves carrying supplies to people that need it. It ain't FEMA, folks. It is not FEMA. Look at this. And these are just, I could show you video after video of incidents like this. Citizens working in groups, taking supplies to people, community members, neighbors, helping people. Like the next community over, banding together and taking supplies to the next community. This is what's happening, folks. It's the private citizens.
Yeah, and a lot of the people, I was reading that a lot of these people that live up there in the mountains, a lot of the residents are veterans, so they have skill sets, and they're really coming together. Some of them, have medical experience. They have experience with animals, heavy equipment operations, moving trees and doing things like that. So a lot of these people have their own skill sets, and they seem like they're kind of getting the job done themselves. But one of the other things that we're noticing over the course of the last few days is these people seem like they're getting really angry at this point.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, the anger just seems to be boiling up.
Absolutely.
We've seen a couple videos where, you know, I don't know what they're planning, but some things that people have suggested is that people are suggesting that local sheriffs should actually arrest these FEMA employees for impeding the recovery and rescue process. So, I've seen a few posts like that calling for actual arrests, different things like that. Nick Sorter, he had a tweet today. He said, "Let me know where the blockades are, and we'll have North Carolina State Police move them out of the way. Already did it once, which is one reason why we have an escort now. FEMA has zero jurisdiction. Trust me, they're not going to win this one." So these are the type of messages that we're starting to see come out. People seem like they're just really fed up. And he's the one also that was saying the Biden administration was taking credit for the Starlinks that he brought and the other volunteers that we know about.
John, thank you for that. John says, thank you for your reporting the truth. We're trying to get the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth. We're trying to understand what really is going on, and it just paints a negative picture on the truth on FEMA's role and responsibility in this tragedy. And I think forever they'll be exposed. I don't think this ends well for FEMA at all. I mean, I think, for instance, let's talk about Magnolia. Let's talk about Nancy Mace, Congresswoman Nancy Mace, because she put out a series of tweets. And apparently, here's what I'm going to do. Hold on, Magnolia, stay with me. She put in a couple things. She said, time or already voted to impeach Mayorkas once. Who thinks we need to do it again? And then she says this, introducing legislation to terminate FEMA's shelter and service programs for illegals. This bill will demand FEMA to stop funding illegal aliens and redirect the funding to support hurricane victims. And she attached the bill. So she's like, Nancy Mace is like, no more FEMA. I saw another one come through here. T. Paul says, the main food supplier, Ingalls Distribution Center, is done. I'm helping coordinate with Mars Hill above Asheville. They need anyone to land on properties. There's big circles with X's in the middle. Thank you for that information, T. Paul. Yes, helicopters, there are X's on the ground for private helicopters to understand, and people on the ground are putting these X's apparently in areas that are safe for the helicopters to drop supplies or land. But going back to Nancy Mace, you know, she's saying that the program where apparently all that program about redirecting or what is it, housing illegals, she's saying that money's going to go towards what FEMA's supposed to be for.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, ladies and gentlemen, the White House press secretary says this FEMA, you know, participating with helping migrants and everything, it's just not true. This is what the White House press secretary said today when asked that question right here.
Former President Trump is accusing the Biden administration of using FEMA funding to support undocumented migrants. How is the White House responding to that?
I mean, it's just categorically false. It is not true. It is a false statement. And look, the fact of the matter is, I think Washington Post fact checker did a piece, and the headline recently, just moments ago, not too long ago, and the headline was, no, Biden did not take FEMA relief money to use on migrants, but Trump did.
So she blames Trump.
Yeah, I mean, that's honestly unbelievable that she would stand there and say that, because the programs are on the website.
Their own website.
The government website. There's like a comprehensive list of people that got the money. So it's just unbelievable that you would stand there and say that. Yeah, I mean, it's just pure gaslighting. It's ridiculous.
Well, then, if it's not
I
true,
think that,
Magnolia, if it's not true, then why is Nancy Mace introducing legislation to terminate the FEMA's shelter and service program for illegals? Obviously, there's a program for them.
well, I think a lot of times that they just say things and expect that people will just buy it at face value and not actually look into it themselves. And then people will go around and parrot whatever she says. But I think we're in a situation right now where too many people are seeing what's going on. The information's out there. Everyone's talking about it. So it's just not gonna work this time. We even had, I saw SF Investigates. He's someone who does a lot of work with missing people. He had gone out there earlier this week, and he made a tweet too where he said they were turning away trained SAR technicians and commercially licensed drone pilots equipped with thermal imaging drones. He said, I'm from California and traveled here to pitch in to help. Instead, I was made to feel like a criminal for doing so. And he's probably referring also to Stephen Crabtree there when he says the drone with thermal imaging, because we heard from Stephen Crabtree a couple days ago that he was barred from flying his drone. So these reports are piling up. All these things are happening. A lot of people, individual experiences, and they all seem to match up.
It does. It's like, and it really, the only people that are saying it's not true are the people in Washington that aren't there.
Yeah.
It's what it seems like. You know, another, I'll tell you another group of people that's actually doing the work. Right here, folks. Mules. The mules are going in. Like Rough Riders.
Yeah.
Mules and supplies.
Yeah, I mean, these are people, I just, like I said before, I feel like these are people that are pretty self-sufficient. You know, they're used to living up there in the mountains. They need supplies to get somewhere, so they bring in the mules, you know. Now, I want to play, though, some of these videos that we saw of these people up there, these locals up there that are just, it just seems like they're completely fed up. And we've seen some posts today where people are saying, like, there was a post that I sent you earlier. This was in a random Facebook group that my brother saw, and it was a guy named Jimmy Welch who lives in the area, and he said, I'm from just outside where the flooding is. What y'all are seeing on the news is mild. It's very bad. FEMA is blocking donations. Appalachia folks getting pissed, and they ain't ready for that. So we're seeing these posts.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Well, the video I just forwarded back to you, this girl talked about that too.
Is she in the green?
Yeah.
Green shirt?
Yes.
All right, let me play this. Stay with me, Magnolia. Here, Magnolia sent me this over. Let's listen to this individual and see what...
wait till y'all see this if you haven't seen it already.
Here we go.
And anybody else who thinks they could slow us down. You obviously don't know what kind of people we are. You ever heard the saying, come hell or high water? Well, here we are. You want to try to stop us? We'll find another way around you. Newsflash to you again. We know the mountains like the back of our hands. Those are our people. You ain't going to do jack shit. We're going to do everything we can. You want to push us? We push back harder. You don't think that's going to happen? Keep pushing us. We don't roll over. We don't back down. We will get to our brothers and sisters. Without you, we don't need you.
Whoa. She just means business, doesn't she?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
pretty much. I mean, and again, I tweeted out this is going to go very, very something in a sense. This is going to be very, very bad for FEMA.
Yeah, I'm getting this like image of FEMA being run out of town. That's where this seems like it's headed. But you know, there's these fights over the land and different things that have been talked about as far as like the lithium and the mining and different things. That hasn't stopped. That talk is still going on. People think that they're going to just take the land over. So yeah, it just seems to me, just based on what we've seen out of the locals who actually live there, yeah, I don't know if FEMA is prepared to deal with these people when they're angry.
Unless FEMA goes in and starts giving everyone $5,000 or something crazy, a big charity, you know, amount to, you know, keep people happy, because people feel like $750 and they'll throw it right back in their faces and say, get out of here. Like, that's almost like an insult. I'd be insulted, you know, if I lost my home and everything in front of, you know, everything inside my home, lost pets, whatever, and someone was dangling $750 in my face. I'm not even going to say the word, but I'll tell them to go, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, it's the amount itself that's an insult, but also the fact that people are applying and immediately being denied. So, you know, they came out and said, oh, you know, there's relief. You can go online, you can apply, get instant relief. And so people went online and applied, and pretty much it seems like most of them have been denied. So that's only going to make people even more angry, because it just seems like they're just playing games at this point.
Colton B says, check your tip line on JLR Investigates. Yeah, we check our tip line usually after the live, but we will definitely look. A lot of you guys send us, a lot of locals been sending us a lot of different things too, and talking and everything like that. Yeah, so well, what's the next one we're going to show, Magnolia, with the individuals that are kind of just outraged? I got one right here. I got one, for example, right here. This woman here, listen to this right here. Stay with me, Magnolia. She speaks a little bit too about the situation. I like these TikTokers coming out too, giving their insight about the situation and their take, because it all paints a picture about FEMA, and it's not good, folks. It's not good.
Yeah.
As much as they are trying to stop it, they can't. FEMA and the Red Cross have been running a major PR campaign the last 2 days because of all of the rumors that have been said across social media. And started their own fact-checking portion of their website. And they put out a video with this lady, and she's like, this is all misinformation and it is blatantly not true. She's talking about the $750. She's over here like, that's not all they're going to get. This is just a quick payment so they can buy formula. But she's not talking about the people that got denied. She's not talking about the people who don't get it because they're not low income without insurance. Because if you had insurance and you're not low income, you don't get the $750. She's like, this is just, but it's not, because FEMA's broke. New Yorkers came out and said it basically again today during a press conference. He's like, look, we have enough to maybe cover this hurricane, but no, we don't have enough. Even caught Congress's attention, which I don't know if it amounts to a hill of beans anymore. Matt Gaetz issued a strongly worded letter to FEMA demanding answers to the questions about the money that went towards the migrant camps and why they don't have enough money for the hurricane victims and where all the supplies are going. The American Red Cross came out with their own fact check sheet, and look, they're like, look, we're not taking people's money. We're not turning away donations. We're not confiscating items. They're saying that they work with specific vendors, and if you're not part of those vendors, then they can't take your items. So they are, but not in the way that you think they are. Red Cross is not taking over shelters. They don't forcibly take us. I guess that was one rumor that was going around. The Red Cross came in and kicked everybody out. But they're like, no, we're working hand in hand with partners. But those partners are saying no, that they came in and just kind of took charge. I mean, and nobody is buying it. Nobody is buying it. The replies on all of these posts is incredible. And they're demanding to know where the missing children at the border are, because it was FEMA's responsibility to make sure them kids were accounted for and housed and clothed and fed. FEMA's got a history of losing kids And you got people that are boots on. Conservative Ant is one of them. He worked with FEMA during their hurricane, I think it was last year, where he brought down a truckload of supplies and they wouldn't let him in, and then they would take the supplies but like leave them sit in the sun, and then they were no good. They were worthless. They just stood around. They didn't do anything but boss people around, but they didn't actually help. And that's exactly what people on the ground in like North Carolina are saying, that they're just there. They're not doing anything. Taking up hotel rooms and they're taking up Airbnbs so that people got no, I mean, it's a mess. It's a mess. And FEMA is corrupt. And so is the Red Cross. So is the Red Cross. Something's going on. I mean, you all know what it is, but people aren't letting that shit slide anymore. They are just not.
Interesting, right?
Yeah, so do you think that the people in that area would actually fight back against FEMA if it came to that?
Yeah. If you're messing with entire livelihoods and communities, tight-knit communities in the mountains, yeah, absolutely. Kelly B says the fact that citizens are being prohibited by government agencies from assisting one another should speak volumes. We must stand together. Case in point, somebody just said a comment, we must stand together. And that's how I kind of see these community members standing together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The internet, again, I think, the FCC was denying Starlink, the authorization to have Starlink in that area for a long, long time, for years, right?
Yeah.
Not giving these people the proper information out there and be able to access the internet and everything. But now that Starlink is in there, they're putting a lot of people are coming out with their cameras. People are coming out with, their videos and stuff like that. And I think the light is shined right on this entire process. And it's not going to go away. And every move that FEMA makes, or the federal government, the citizens are going to document.
Yeah, it looks like they are. And like you said, people are, especially TikTok. I mean, these videos, if you just go on TikTok, like last night I was looking for videos about people applying for the FEMA checks, and it was just, there's just tons and tons of them. They're really taking to social media and telling everything. So another thing that we're seeing a lot of is people pointing out that they don't believe the death toll the media is reporting is accurate. They're saying, I think 215 was the last number I saw.
It's over two.
ABC.
Yeah, it's a little bit over two.
Yeah, but
100.
There's a couple other videos though. The one I just forwarded back to you. These citizens are explaining that the real death toll is likely far, far higher, and it's just not being reported.
Cluminati, nice to see you, Cluminati. Cluminati says, money isn't their priority. It's food and water. It's survival, and they will survive at any cost. People need water. They do need water. Supplies in the blockade is just, I can't even imagine being told, oh, you can't deliver food unless it comes through us. And you can't go out there. You'll get arrested for delivering people water, baby formula, and foods. It's sick. Got another comment in there. Let me see here. Sergio, Dolly Parton gave $2 million to help. Yeah, she did give it. Was it $1 million or $2 million?
Yeah, I saw 1 million, but we were wondering where she donated that to.
Yeah, we were interested in knowing because, like, Morgan Wallen, he donate like 500 mil, or I'm sorry, 500,000, 500 million. Wow, 500 million would save the day. But he donated to the Red Cross, and a lot of people were kind of like, Red Cross, right? Like the video that we just watched, a lot of people were skeptical about the Red Cross. I'm personally a little bit skeptical of the Red Cross. In their role, just because of the migrant issue down there that we've been seeing out at the border. But yeah, it's the private citizens. It's the private citizens. A lot of former athletes. What was one of the golf course or one of the places that donated a bunch of money? Augusta. Because Augusta was affected. Some former NASCAR drivers, some former athletes, some former NFL players, donating. It's
yeah.
But it should be FEMA. It should be the federal government, because the federal government taxes everybody. Where's everyone's taxpayer money going? Apparently, they use it up and send the money overseas. All those billions and billions. Imagine, folks, imagine all those billions of dollars that the federal government, just in the last 3 years, or in the lifetime of the federal government in your lifetime, and all those billions, and, imagine if all that was used at home for these type of situations. Put all those $1 billion in an emergency coffer, and then when tragedies like this hit, there could be remedy.
Yeah, well, they just added fuel to the fire tonight, too, because Secretary Anthony Blinken posted at 6 p.m. tonight that the U.S. is sending $157 million in assistance to Lebanon.
Yeah, I mean, that's like tone deaf. That's crazy. He announced, and I'm going to share this tweet. This is the Secretary of State of the United States, Blinken, and he says the U.S. is at the forefront of the humanitarian response to a growing crisis in Lebanon, announcing nearly $157 million in assistance today. Yeah. We are committed to supporting those in need and delivering essential aid to displaced civilians, refugees, and the community. Are you kidding me? Lebanon? What about Western North Carolina?
Yeah.
$157 million to Western North Carolina can make a huge difference and save lives. Water, food, necessities.
Yeah, and
Lebanon?
They're committed to supporting those in need, delivering essential aid to displaced civilians. That sentence should apply to the people of North Carolina. This tweet should be written about the people of North Carolina, not Lebanon.
Just talk about timing, just bad timing. But just shows you with
priorities.
Man, that's why people are outraged. That's just one of many examples. Mm-hmm. Go to his responses. He's literally getting ratioed. He's getting ratioed for that, Magnolia.
Yeah, and
justifiably so.
He also used the word refugees, so you know what that means. The next step. They'll want to bring all the refugees here next. That's the next thing.
My goodness. I'm gonna play this. What you sent me here of this individual here. This is the clip you sent me, and we'll listen to what she has to say. Keep your comments coming in, folks. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
It's so super cool if that was true, but it's not. It's actually the point of why I made that video. Local news is saying 60, 70 dead in our county, but if you walk up to any first responder or law enforcement officer and say, "Is there any update on the death toll?" I don't even want to say the number, because I've done it. And so is every other local here, because we're genuinely concerned and have been fed up with our local news for not covering it the way that they should. There are hundreds and hundreds dead. And there are some places that they've not even started searching for the bodies because the mudslides are too thick to get through. There are some houses that are still buried under the river. They have ordered cold trailers to our town to keep the bodies. Does that sound like 200 bodies to you? Does that sound like 200 bodies? We're not some tiny little town. Asheville has a large hospital and multiple morgues. So I will say it again, and I will continue to say it. There are hundreds and hundreds dead, and there are thousands missing. If you want to believe one little man behind a screen with a microphone instead of believing our entire community, please feel free to do so. You're not here. You're not helping.
Wow. So sad. I mean, they don't even know the numbers. Governor Cooper was asked numerous times how many, and he just doesn't know. And we're a week into this now. We're a week into this.
I don't get that.
How do you not know how many people are missing?
I have no idea. I mean, I understand for the first several days not being able to know.
Yeah, and it always trickles down.
Yeah.
But there's still hundreds of, I'm not going to say there's 1,000 people dead. Some people think there will be a couple thousand people. But I can surely say, based off the missing, it seems like there's going to be over 500.
Yeah.
Dead.
Yeah. I think I definitely agree with what I'm hearing. Just because, like I said, these homes were completely washed away. The mudslides are everywhere. When you look at the images that people are posting, that mud is really, really thick. And to be able to recover everything, it's just going to take so long. But it seems like you should still be able to have an idea of who's accounted for and who's not at this point. You should be able to answer that question, at least, maybe not an exact number, but, a ballpark.
Man, there's so many pictures of the devastation here, and it just, some of these communities along these rivers just got totally wiped out, like wiped off the map. I mean, there was businesses here all gone. I mean, it's like leveled. It's bad, folks. Very, very
it's
bad.
Like the roads are just ripped up out of the ground.
Ripped up. I mean, I want to go so bad, like, listen, we don't even have an SUV. And I tried to get an SUV in Tampa, Florida, and they're all sold out because hurricane stuff. They're sold out there in Jacksonville and in Orlando and Tampa right now, SUVs, because of the storms out there in the coastline of Florida. People lost their vehicles and their homes, and they're all renting cars. We want to go up there so badly and try to get deep in those hills to try to see if we can save somebody.
Yeah,
but I'm getting very it's I know humans can survive, but we're all weak now.
Yeah.
Some people just can't leave. People might say, well, why can't they just walk, like, trek 20 miles? Some people can't. They're kids, elderly with bad, health problems. They can't do it. Mobility issues.
Yeah.
Tarkina Meyer says, but thank goodness we allocated $157 million to Lebanon today to help their victims of destruction and their refugees. America first. Thank you for the comment.
Yeah, what's really crazy is that, the same storm hit Florida and decimated communities in Florida. But it seems like the damage and everything in North Carolina just completely eclipses what happened in Florida, which is wild to even say, because Florida is really bad. I mean, you went and showed all these areas in Florida, and then on top of it, we're wanting to go up there, but now there's a new storm coming directly at us.
Yeah, like at us.
Literally at us.
Like there's a storm coming directly at us. I can't leave. I can't abandon that situation.
Well, and I just saw a little bit ago they're forecasting it, I think, for like Tuesday into Wednesday maybe. But leading up to that storm, there's going to be a lot of rain ahead of it. So there's going to be a ton of rain. I mean, they're forecasting, what was it, like 20 inches of rain in the Tampa area?
Some spots.
So this is if people haven't seen it, this is a storm that's actually traveling west to east. And the way they have the track is that it would be a direct hit, Category 3, Tampa Bay, and go like straight across the state, right? Like east.
This was the APM Euro model. Now, Euro and GFS, pretty similar. This is for Wednesday. Look at that. Boom. Slicing right through Florida. This is such, an interesting situation. Now, it's not going to be a Category 4, but some of the pressures in the area here off the coast are in the 940s, which would put Cat 3. Now, I don't think a Cat 3 will hit, but you never know, because the last storm, Helene, was a Cat 1 and blew up to a 4 in 24 hours in rapid intensification. But this is the models.
This is the Euro. The GFS has it a little bit south, but it definitely both have it some sort of system plowing into Florida. But even 10 inches of 15 inches of rain without necessarily a hurricane and just a tropical storm could devastate communities along the coast, plus storm surge. 3 feet, 4 feet storm surge could flood out areas all over Florida.
Yeah, because we're already, the ground here is already soaked from the storm that we just had. And not only that, Florida in general has been getting a ton of rain all summer. It's almost every day there's like these huge storms in the afternoons. And so we're already getting a ton of rain. The ground is already soaking. But if you go back to that model that you showed, you can see the rain ahead of the system. There's like a massive system ahead of that storm.
Yeah, it's just
that's what
piles
they're
of
saying
rain.
over the next several days leading up into Tuesday that that one right there. So that one right ahead of it is going to bring a lot of rain, and then those outer bands leading up to it. So
there's a cold front coming down. So the storm is actually going west to east. Now this has it more of a west northeast movement, but it's either going to be this way or it's going to plow into Sarasota or maybe Fort Myers area or something like that with a cold front coming down to prevent it from going up. It's just going to go across the peninsula. It's crazy. If it's true, but I definitely think regardless if it's a hurricane or not, hurricane's going to make the situation much worse, but even the rainmaker, Florida's going to have problems. So, if places flood out and everything like that, where are people going to get the FEMA money? They're not.
Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, people are already denied for FEMA relief from this storm. So, I don't know. TPAW said they're overwhelmed with the homeless problem, and who knows where the illegals are. My hubby goes to the VA up in Asheville. If the storm passes by when you can, I'm in to help have contacts. Thank you, TPAW.
It's play Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller's an interesting character. Some people, Stephen Miller, some people like him, some people hate him. But he went on a rant today, Stephen Miller. So we're going to listen to Stephen Miller right here talking about the situation with FEMA, and he brings Kamala Harris into the mix right here. Stephen Miller.
The reason why those Americans in North Carolina, those mothers, those fathers, those precious little children were left to die, were left on rooftops begging their government for help that never came, is because Kamala Harris turned FEMA into an illegal alien resettlement agency. Its manpower, its dollars, its resources, its mental energy was spent over the last 4 years learning how to do one thing, how to get illegal aliens from outside the country into your town. And so when disaster struck, they were not ready, they were not prepared, they were not capable, and they did not care. And our fellow citizens, including babies, children, young kids, were left to suffer and drown. They did not scramble the helicopters. They did not scramble the military. They did not send needed assistance. But if those children had been living in a foreign country, they've been living in Haiti, or they've been living in Venezuela, why then Kamala Harris would have sent in help immediately.
What do you think? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, he's definitely heated. He has some pretty good rants, but he's right, and I just think that this whole situation is really waking a lot of people up to what's going on. We've been reporting on the border for over a year now, so it's just interesting how the border coverage that we've done over time is now kind of crossing paths with these major hurricanes and disaster relief and everything else. It's just all coming together into a big catastrophe, and it's reached a point where people just can't ignore it anymore. I mean, there's so many problems with FEMA and DHS in general, and it's gotten to this point where everyone notices all over the country in different ways. It's affecting people in all different ways, and this one is probably one of the most deadliest storms that we've ever seen in this country. Some people expect the death toll to be even higher than Katrina, so this is a particular situation that is like impossible to ignore. And the fact that people have lost everything and they're not getting the help they need is completely unacceptable to anyone watching.
This is the front page of the New York Post today. Front page, right here, folks. Front page. And they called it the con before the storm. Feds say there's no money left for hurricanes after it spent $1.4 billion on immigrants. And they got the Homeland Security chief right there. The con, not the calm before the storm, the con before the storm. So interesting. And this was out today, Friday, October 4th. Front page, New York Post. The con before the storm. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it is just completely unacceptable that people are suffering. And like Stephen Miller said, the reality is that people are dying up there. They're trapped. They can't get out. And in some cases, these rescues are being stopped. It's been a week. They've been without food, water, power. It's got to be terrifying. And just knowing that that's going on and just thinking about all these other stories and the testimonies we've seen, it's really hitting a lot of people hard. I mean, it's overwhelming, even for me. People ask me sometimes, like, how do y'all do this work that you do? Because it's always, like, tragedies and it's always things. And, a lot of times we tend to just, keep things very professional. But this is a situation, to me personally, that's just completely overwhelming. I had to take a break from it earlier today because it's just so much. It's just, you're inundated. If you're on social media at all, this is all you're seeing. These videos of these people that are suffering, and it's just really difficult to watch and completely unacceptable.
Look at this. This is one example. I'll just show you another one. I'll show you all another one. This is this is just a town in North Carolina after this happened. You can go on TikTok and just see everyone's videos.
Here today in Swannanoa, North Carolina, one of the hardest hit towns by Hurricane Helene. Looks like a tornado came through. There's no government here. There's no FEMA. People are just coming in here with supplies, fuel, food, whatever we can to try to help this community. Every dollar I make from this video, I'm donating it to Hurricane Helene relief efforts. So please share, repost, comment, like, anything you can do that can boost this video. You're going to help people in need. Currently delivering aid at Swannanoa Church of God, and I just want to give you guys a look at the flooding in the church basement. Remember, this is a week after the storm. Still no power. Still no clean water, and we're just trying to dig out from the mud in here. Here's more flooding. Making some progress down in the basement. Hungry people ready to get a hot meal. As you can see, we've got helicopters flying in and out. Really the most efficient way, the only way to get in and out of here. I mean, this auto shop just crumbled on its stones. I mean, completely gutted. Your thing, guy.
You know what? Noticing a pattern, Magnolia. Every single boots on the ground video that we've seen, boots on the ground in almost every single community, they all say the same thing. And what is that? No FEMA.
Yeah.
No FEMA. There's no FEMA in these towns. No FEMA. It's always
and
the local churches, the local pantries,
Yeah.
and the citizens themselves doing the cleanup and the distributing food. No FEMA.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that we've heard really about FEMA's presence on the ground is that they're in the way and they're impeding recovery efforts. So that's really the only thing that we're hearing about FEMA on the ground right now.
Sick.
It's negative. It's all negative.
I have a feeling that some of the people with FEMA are going to be brought in front of Congress, kind of like Kimberly Cheetle with the Secret Service. I think some people with FEMA, when this is all said and done and the death toll gets up into however amount, and we don't want it to be that high, people are going to be brought in and have to explain under oath about things, about FEMA's process.
Yeah, I think
the lack of federal response at the beginning stages. We're 1 week into this, and now FEMA's coming in just yesterday with their little van in the back of a parking lot registering names for the first time yesterday, almost a week after this thing came through.
Yeah.
They should have been there. They should have been mobilized and ready as the storm was going through, and then being there ASAP by the weekend to assist and aid people and save lives. They haven't done that. Not that I've seen. Unless you guys see something different. We want to know anything positive out of FEMA in reference to this. If you know anything positive out of FEMA, what FEMA has done positive, tips at JLR Investigates. We want to hear it. We want to hear what, if you are a citizen in that area, not something you've seen on TV or whatever like that. I'm talking about if you're there in Western North Carolina and you experienced something positive that FEMA has done that you've seen with your own eyes, please reach out to us. We'd love to hear these stories. And then also on the other end, if you have any type of thing you want to share about what FEMA's not doing or your own experiences, tips at JLR Investigates. We want to hear from people from all sides. We want to get the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yeah, I think we can expect investigations, specifically from Congress. I don't know if those will go anywhere. Most of the time when they do those, nothing ever really happens. But it does seem, it's really remarkable when you look at Alejandro Mayorkas in particular. They already tried to impeach him once, and it didn't go through or whatever, but you had that already happen. And then just a few months ago, we had the attempted Trump assassination that he was, he's in charge of the Secret Service too. And so all these major things that are happening lately, they're all going right back to Mayorkas. And it's like, I think a lot of people are wondering, how is this man still in charge? How is that even possible?
Well,
I don't understand.
A couple months left. He could be lame duck. He could not be. I could say, if politics change in November, he's gone.
Yeah.
You know that for a fact. He's 100% gone. But if politics don't change, he could stay.
I mean, but just because the administration may be on its way out doesn't mean that these people should be able to do whatever they want with no accountability.
I agree.
I mean, but that seems like that's how they're behaving, as if they're just acting with impunity. They're just doing whatever they want. They're saying whatever they want, whether it's true or not. Some of the things that we've heard, they're very careful with their language and their semantics. They say, "Oh no, we're not turning away help. We're working with approved vendors and preferred partners," right? So that means they're only working with the ones who they've given the contracts to.
Pretty
So
much.
they're very careful with the way they word things and say, oh no, we have these NGOs and these nonprofits and preferred partners and vendors that we're working with. It's not true that we're not working with those people. We are, but that's not what people are talking about. We're not talking about NGOs. We're talking about people like Stephen Crabtree, who comes to help with his thermal drone being turned away. There's really no reason to turn people away like that unless they're hiding something.
We're on it, folks. We are on it on JLR Investigates, and we'll continue to share what people are sharing. We want to get the truth out there. We hope and pray, if anyone is trapped, that they get saved. And no doubt the private citizens are stepping to the plate. Private organizations, private charities, local churches, local community members, man, all of them are heroes. Every single one of them out there. If you're watching, God bless you guys, and thank you for your service, and thank you for what you're doing. Community can come together. It seems like community's getting obstructed on the federal level, by the federal level.
Tara just sent a super chat. She said,
"Oh,
keep up the good rest work, praying for all affected and those volunteers helping. Hope this is the great American awakening."
Thank you so much, Tara. We got a couple more that just came in. Crime scene photo says, please help my son, a lineman. Several of his buddies want to come help. We've been researching all day. How can he and his buddies come help restore power? Pole, California is ready to roll and restore power. From Cali. Wow. I guess he would have to try to, how would that work?
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That's kind of where we're at. It's like, if people want to go help, where do they go? Who do they talk to?
Yeah, I would just say just go around Facebook and kind of look in the groups, maybe the local groups in those counties that are there, and see what organizations they could align with and try to help. Mm-hmm. Kelly B says, this is absolute treason. IDC, what political party one is for. I don't care what political party one is for. This and several other recent travesties should tell us all what's going on. Yeah, this is, I think this is just an American issue.
Yeah.
And, America, some people say the slogan, America first, Americans should be first. It is quite disturbing seeing the federal government continue to allocate money overseas when we have these very issues here at home. Not just with these storms and tragedies, but homelessness, addiction, drug addictions, and people that are laid off, and jobs and inflation, and just, a lot of people need to be taken care of in this country, and it seems like a lot are being left behind lately. Sad.
Yeah, people are getting the impression that the government doesn't care, and that's certainly how they're acting. But, you mentioned there's a lot of these organizations out there. One of the ones people keep bringing up is Samaritan's Purse. So maybe if people are looking to go help volunteer, that might be a good one to check in with. And I'm sure that they have contacts with different organizations. So I think there's a lot of people that are trying to go help. There's a lot of people there, the locals, that are banding together. These communities seem very tight-knit. So it almost seems like FEMA could be outnumbered here, and I'm very interested.
They're outnumbered 1,000 to 1.
Yeah, so I'm very interested to see if some of these things they're calling for actually end up happening, like where they were calling for sheriffs to make arrests if they see any FEMA employees blocking aid coming through, or similar behavior. So I'll be interested to see how that goes. But yeah, we'll keep monitoring it and kind of see what people are talking about and where this is headed.
Absolutely. So we'll be back tomorrow, folks, with some updates. We have our eyes on the situation. We'll try to inform you with what's going on, what's the latest, and the turn of events, and anything else that government agencies, governors, or local officials put out, we will share with all of you. Anything else? Final thoughts, Magnolia?
No, not for now.
All right, folks, stay strong. JLR and Magnolia Investigates. We cover true crime 24/7, 365, these terrible tragedies, and pray for everyone. Just say a prayer for these people, man, because there's lots of people that lost everything. And, you're in your warm comfort of your home. We're going to be sleeping in a bed tonight. A lot of you sleep in your bed, but some people are not that fortunate, so we're just praying for everyone, praying for the animals, the elderly, the children, the families. Kids are going to have to relocate from schools to schools. I mean, it's a horrible. I mean, this is just a lot of other issues compound on issues, and we're only scratching the surface here. So stay strong, everyone. We'll talk soon. Have a good day, everyone. JLR and Magnolia Investigates. Have a good day. Be safe.